Hello there, thanks for joining me on 7Edition. I'm Ras Adibaratzi and these are your headlines. Auditor General raises concerns over 5 Finance Ministry-linked companies. The Prime Minister says he is satisfied with police action on alleged LTTE supporters. And nearly 50 killed after Typhoon Hagupit tears through Japan. Assalamualaikum, and it's good to see you again. The Prime Minister today said that he is satisfied with the reason for police to take action against individuals over their suspected links to the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam LTTE terrorist group. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the Security Offences Special Measures Act or SOSMA can be applied in the case.
Saya dapat briefing daripada polis, mereka memberi sebab-sebab mereka bertindak. Saya puas hati dengan tindakan sebab-sebab mereka mengambil tindakan itu. Well, the SOSMA Act is still there. So in the absence of other law that can be applied, they use SOSMA Act.
So far, 12 individuals have been nabbed in several parts of the nation, including several assemblymen. Bukit Aman Counter-Terrorism Chief Dato' Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said that those detained were suspected of promoting and supporting LTTE while securing funds for the terror group. Police said last week that one of the men arrested wanted to attack the Sri Lanka embassy in Malaysia. The government has designed a 3-year financial roadmap to put Malaysia back on fiscal track and restore the country's economic health despite entrenched uncertainties brought about by the United States and China trade war. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng, who said this, added that the government is on track to achieve the targeted deficit of 3.4% of gross domestic product GDP this year.
Given this framework, the fiscal target is revised to 3.2% of GDP in 2020, but it remains on track to reach 2.8% in the medium term. The increase from 3% to 3.2% might not sound a lot, but remember, when it comes to spending, it is not only about how much is spent, but also on what the spending is on.
We also had some committee in the
The minister was speaking at the 2020 Budget Forum in the Federal Capital today. Lim added that a lot of the measures in the budget will foment the foundations necessary for Malaysia to transform structurally in line with the recently launched Shared Prosperity Vision 2030.
This is part of the transparent government. When we do a study, we tell you.
On another matter, the finance minister said that the government will be able to maintain its revenue projections for next year. Commenting on concerns that the Budget 2020 did not really look at how the government is going to raise revenue, Lim said this is because the projections for 2020 has been stress tested.
No, I think you look at the projections that we've made, and these are all based on stress-tested figures. We have kept within the projections for the last 2 years, and we believe that we will be able to maintain that for next year. If there are any contingencies, of course, we will do the necessary revisions, but at the moment, no. So I think it's very stress tested. 2018, 2019, despite many predictions otherwise, I think we have kept within that range.
Okay, so you predict that revenue collection for the coming years?
What I have outlined in the budget, I think that will be that projection should be maintained.
Okay.
When tabling the federal budget last Friday, Lim said in the event of the continued worse-than-expected external environment, the government stands ready to step in with contingency measures to provide further support or stimulus to growth. According to the Finance Ministry, the federal government's revenue is projected to decline by 7.1% to 244.5 billion ringgit in 2020. Tax revenue will remain the major contributor to the federal government's revenue in 2020, with an expected total collection of 189.9 billion ringgit. Meanwhile, the government is expected to rake in an additional 100 million ringgit with the increase on personal income tax for those who make more than 2 million ringgit a year that was announced in Budget 2020. Lim said the hike to a 30% rate was in line with World Bank's recommendations.
But when you talk about this proposal, these are actually made by the World Bank. The World Bank feels that our top marginal tax rate for the wealthy is too low compared to other neighboring countries. So they say that we should at least increase it, because compared to other countries, we are amongst the lowest.
Lim explained that according to World Bank, Malaysia can increase it as high as 35%. However, Malaysia only raised it by 2 percentage points from 28% previously.
That is in line with our manifesto.
The National 5G Task Force is in the final phase of completing its report on the implementation of 5G technology in a holistic manner. Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Deo said his ministry, through the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, will study the report before bringing it to the Cabinet in the fourth quarter of this year.
The task force had outlined a comprehensive plan to deploy 5G in Malaysia through 4 working groups: business case working, spectrum management and allocation, infrastructure, and regulatory. Gobind said the ministry had conducted a consultation session in June by inviting other ministries, agencies, as well as relevant parties from the private sector, including the Malaysian Productivity Corporation and SME Corp Malaysia, to identify the needs and challenges in implementing the technology and 5G ecosystem at the government level.
The task force has managed to do a phenomenal job in trying to map out where we stand now currently in terms of connectivity and where we want to get to in 5 years' time. And of course, when you look at that kind of a structure, you will realize that there's a huge task ahead of us. And this is also the reason why we've taken the step to put aside a huge budget of 21.6 billion for this purpose.
Earlier, Gobind told the Dewan Rakyat today that the testbed of the 5G demonstration project will be implemented for a period of 6 months, beginning October until March 2020, by 8 companies. These companies will develop 55 cases of 5G usage in 6 locations: Kedah, Perak, Penang, Selangor, Terengganu, and Kuala Lumpur.
Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamarudin said each state can have its own guidelines on the minimum price for condominiums and apartments to be purchased by foreigners. This is because the number of property overhang is different for each state. In Budget 2020, it was announced that the government will lower the threshold on high-rise property prices in urban areas for foreign ownership from 1 million to 600,000 ringgit next year. This was to help reduce the supply overhang of condominiums and apartments, which stood at 8.3 billion ringgit as one of the second quarter this year. Meanwhile, Penang Housing Town and Country Planning Committee Chairman Jagdeep Singh Deo said he would bring the newly announced policy to the State Exco's meeting for consideration. Penang's guidelines for foreign property ownership is a minimum of 3 million ringgit for landed property and 1 million ringgit for condominiums on the island. On the mainland, the price is set at 1 million ringgit for landed properties and 500,000 ringgit for condominiums. Five companies owned by the Finance Ministry may have problems to repay loans given to them, totaling 7.6 billion ringgit. Auditor General Datuk Nik Azman Nik Abdul Majid, who disclosed this, said that the federal government only paid 2.8 billion ringgit of their debt in 2018. Datuk Nik Azman said the previous government, which provided guarantees for the loans, repaid 1.7 billion and the present Pakatan Harapan repaid 1.1 billion ringgit. He also named the Finance Ministry incorporated companies as Syarikat KL International Airport Berhad, GovCo Holdings Berhad, Asset Global Networks Sdn Berhad, Jambatan Kedua Sdn Berhad and Dana Infra National Berhad.
Previous year, we could not detect those loans that were paid by the government direct. The Accountant General this year, or rather based on the 2018 financial report, is more transparent in 2018. So because they just put a footnote in table 5, table 5B, they just put footnote there. Because of that small footnote, we were able to, it triggered us to go deeper.
Speaking at a media conference at the Parliament, Datuk Nik Azman added the government should establish a policy to set a ceiling on government guarantees. He also said the financial statements reflected the reality of the country's financial situation. The Auditor General's report on the federal government's financial statement for 2018 is now available to the public. The Auditor General said the report outlined 6 recommendations for the government, including the tightening of criteria to set up special purpose vehicle SPV companies. The report is available on audit.gov.my. On to the Dewan Rakyat sitting. Members of Parliament were told that tenders for the construction of 3 new packages under the Pamban Highway project will be issued in the first quarter of next year. The 3 packages will be carried out in the Sabah sector of the multi-billion ringgit highway.
Kerajaan juga bersetuju meluluskan 3 lagi pakej yang baru, iaitu melibatkan pakej 28, 29 dan 30, iaitu naik taraf laluan antara persimpangan Telupin ke persimpangan Beluran dengan jarak hampir 60 km dan kos keseluruhan projek sebanyak 980 juta. Ketiga-tiga pakej itu dijangka akan ditender pada suku pertama tahun hadapan 2020.
Replying to a question from Papar MP Ahmad Hassan, Baru said the overall progress of the project has reached 21.3%. He added the government had also terminated the contract of Package 15 from Tawau to Sempurna due to financial difficulties faced by the contractor. Meanwhile, 20 other packages that have yet to be tendered out will be implemented under the 12th Malaysia Plan between 2021 and 2025. The Royal Malaysian Customs has foiled an attempt to smuggle over 30 tons of frozen chicken valued at more than 100,000 ringgit into the country. Kelantan Customs Director Muhammad Ragbi Mat Saud said a 38-year-old local man has also been detained in the investigation. The bust was made yesterday at Kampung Bendang Buyong in Tanah Merah, Kelantan, during an inspection of a container lorry. Checks on the suspect, who was the lorry driver, found that the import permit he held had already expired. There was also no halal certificate to indicate that the birds came from halal sources. Officials said the modus operandi involved parking the container in a secluded spot before a small lorry transporting boxes of frozen chicken would transfer the boxes into the container. The case is being investigated under the Customs Act, which provides for a fine of up to 10 times the value of the goods or a jail term of up to 3 years or both. After the break, fear looms as Turkey-Syria offensive could see Daesh captives go free. Details next. The death toll in Japan from powerful Typhoon Hagupit has surged to 56, while tens of thousands of rescue workers were searching on Monday for survivors. as fresh rain threatened to hamper efforts. Typhoon Hagupit crashed into the country on Saturday night, unleashing high winds and torrential rain across 36 of the country's 47 prefectures and triggering landslides and catastrophic flooding. Even now, many people are still unaccounted for in the disaster-hit area. But even as rescuers, including troops, combed through debris, the country's weather agency forecasts rain in central and eastern Japan that it warned could cause further flooding and new landslides. Now let's hop on to Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. A woman was mercilessly dragged on an asphalt path by a snatch thief who was trying to steal her purse nearby Dataran Merdeka in Kuala Lumpur last Thursday. The CCTV footage of the incident went viral since its upload on the same day and so far has raked in over 40,000 views. Resisting from getting robbed, the viral 20-second clip shows the woman being dragged a few meters on the pavement. Not only did the motorcyclist mercilessly drag her through the harsh asphalt path, but you can also see him trying to kick and step on the woman when his efforts to make her let go of the purse failed. Soon after, the suspect rushed to flee the scene, supposedly after realizing eyewitnesses around. In a statement today, Dang Wangi Police Chief ACP Muhammad Fahmi Visuvanathan Abdullah said they have yet to identify the woman and that so far no reports were received by neither the victim nor witnesses. Police are urging the victim to come forward and make a report at the nearest station to assist investigations. Hello again. Malaysian small and medium enterprises, SMEs and mid-tier companies have been urged to fully leverage on the perks announced in the 2020 budget. Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation (MATRADE) said this can be done through incorporating an export plan in their business strategy or enhancing their readily available export plan for 2020 and beyond. Local companies will enjoy more benefits from MATRADE's market development grant and export promotion efforts, following the increment of the claim ceiling per company from the current 200,000 ringgit to 300,000 ringgit. The ceiling for the participation in international trade fairs will also be revised upwards from 15,000 to 25,000 ringgit. The government will also allocate 50 million ringgit to encourage SMEs to engage in more export promotion activities. Bursa Malaysia ended on a firm note across the board, according to a dealer. This as it tracked the gains on regional bourses amid optimism on the latest round of the US-China trade negotiation. At 5 p.m, the benchmark FBM KLCI rose 10.75 points to 1,567.59. On to stocks to watch. SP Setia Berhad is confident of achieving its revised 2019 sales target of 4.5 billion ringgit, mainly driven by its affordable landed property projects in Malaysia. The management lowered its 2019 sales target by 20% in August 2019 on the back of lower new launches, amid the challenging property market outlook across its various geographies. Next, British American Tobacco BAT is positive on the government's initiative to rein in high illicit cigarette industry share through stricter regulations and increased enforcement budget. While consumer affordability remains an issue for BAT, legal industry volumes should benefit in tandem with lower illicit share, allaying a key concern for investors. And last but not least, the announcement of the proposed offer to acquire 4 Klang Valley highways to be funded via government-guaranteed borrowings has already been forecasted by Gamuda Berhad. The sale of these tolled road assets to the government is expected to be completed in January 2020. Hence, Gamuda only recognises 6-month contributions from the highways in financial year 2020. The SOP valuations for Gamuda has also reflected the 2.36 billion ringgit proceeds Gamuda is to receive from the disposal.